There's a lot to talk about when it comes to this video, especially when they made a response, and I just genuinely, like, it's gonna be a speed run. There's so much to talk about. They even asked me to, like, watch the whole video, which I kind of did, and I know what I did to piss them off. I cut short, because it felt like when they say I spoke...
I've spoken of how similar LARP YouTubers are to their...
Which means is similar to I talked about. And it's like, did you really talk about?
2016 counterparts. So let's dive into how similar they really are.
And I intentionally missed this part where it's like, well, it's just other two LARP tubers. This one is very well known. The Sir LARP is like the meme quality that gave them the intro in the first place. Maybe they were the fans of Sir Pello or something. I'm not a fan of animators in general. I want to stay away from that shit. Animators really dive into that brain rot material that I despise. And it's generally hard. This stuff is hard. And what we're actually like highlighting, except with exception of Larpiplier, it is still tough to pull off such an uncanny feeling. It's more like uncanny feeling. It's not like nostalgia necessarily. Nostalgia is weird. I don't think it applies here. I don't think everyone is like overjoyed to see Markiplier's return as if we went back in time. Because this is like a opportunistic way of doing things, right? The reason why trend happened in the first place, it has to be attractive. And to me, the word is frustration. But it's so weird. I found another mistake where it's like, why are LARPtubers so successful? But then they talk about the whole different aspect of why it exploded in the first place. I mean, I guess every trend is successful. So it's almost implied. It just feels a little bit disconnected. Where you would have to present the video completely differently if you trying to like decode the success part, not the reason why trend is even there. Because usually things happen out of frustration. People want something to happen really badly. It's about time, right? That they do it themselves.
Plier. So this trend has recently blown up on the internet. But why? Well, that's what we're here.
So it's a very different question, right? Basically, it's asking, like, why is this a thing? Which is different from saying successful. Why it's so successful. I don't, like, when it comes to community, we don't actually know how successful it is because there's no other communities to compare it with. I would say because it's a first community, it's the least successful because we know the least amount of pitfalls that we can fall into. But I can also answer the question of why LARPing is a thing, and from my perspective, and this kind of aligns with their view as well. AI is a threat. It's not a big motivating factor necessarily. No one's really out here to say fuck you to AI. Yes, AI can produce slop, and like we want authentic content, but this is like a very fringe thing to put on the table. The biggest frustration is I want to be a YouTuber. That one is the biggest frustration. How do people become YouTubers? There's no way of doing that right now. So the last resort is to just copy and paste what other people are doing, what other people were successful about. And technically, the funny thing is, 2016 YouTube felt like it's more successful than today's YouTube. So it's even more interesting to like go back into the past. So there's a lot of like spice sprinkled in to attract a lot of people to join the community. It's very well crafted if you think about it. And on top of that, there's the frustration that was mentioned here, where like PewDiePie retired, MatPat retires, Nigahiga just simply abandoned his channel, and so on. It felt like 2016 was also more vibrant and had a greater personality status. So it's something to model your attempt in being a YouTuber after, and the thing that we're stealing is in the past. We're trying to steal the past type of content. Not me, though. Alright, because I already have a personality. I don't need to steal anything. in the first place. I already am happily, like, a YouTuber-ish. But I do want to join a community. Desperately. I know what it means. And I know how much guidance it requires for a community to do well. And I intentionally am this, like, weird-ass neighbor that uploads daily because I do care. Alright? I want community to constantly have something to talk about, something happening in there. So they gave me, like, a lengthy response to the previous video I've made. But, you know, the conversation must go on. I can't imagine... This smells like teenage tantrum to me, and eventually they're just gonna give up on me because, well, they're doing pretty well for themselves, okay? You can impress everyone else but me, so you will realize that very quickly and just probably move on. I was trying to, like, expose, like, this attraction towards this highly produced content, and yes, there should be a place for people to, like, put effort into something. It's just in a community setting, you're distorting the bar, the requirement to enter. If you want to enter, now you have to produce, like, crazy level content that people normally can't do, which means the community aspect falls apart. More people are disincentivized from joining because they know they're not going to succeed anymore, right? The community essentially closes down. And that is another pitfall, unfortunately. When you focus only on success, almost like uncontrollably, because it feels like, again, success was just a thing that they cared about, not a thing they were able to decode. Oh, what's that? What's that over there? Yeah, despite all the derogatory implications, I like the part where you say, we do this because we love it. We were inspired when we saw your videos. Aw, that's so cute. That's how I feel about their message that they sent me. Hello, Internet, let's read! Let's read what the Internet provided me. In the end of the day, I'm just some guy interacting with the Internet. Look at me, reading big chungus. That's how I call anyone who give me a paragraph. But this is important, okay? When you open, like, with just wow, I immediately, like, man, I'm smelling fish. When you put in all these, like, little, well, you're not really, like, theorizing or researching, that's totally okay. Now you're getting into, like, sassy territory. The moment you say, we can make gooner bait or whatever, is I know you lost the fucking plot and you're really upset for whatever reason. Because you were not even a part of this plot. I gave the beat here to the gooner stuff. Goon theory, just because it's so outlandish, okay? It's so fascinating. And you can definitely make interesting content surrounding it. Bro took the cake when he saw it, and that's very remarkable for me. While, you know, just following the rules, initial rules of LARPing, that shit is boring. I don't expect anyone to feel entertained while grinding out these videos. Unless, you know, again, you want a small-sized channel and you want to constantly get a little bit of revenue out of your efforts, you want to slowly grind yourself into your own niche channel. Like, this is a good Kickstarter way to join a community, get a bit of subscribers, get a boost in motivation to make videos. All that is great. In short term, like, this is the actual success, right? To prop up a lot of channels which otherwise would be lost in the sauce. Because trying to get to like even 1,000 subs is a very difficult task. Cracking 1,000 subs where people look at you differently because you can monetize your content. Okay? It's hard. And you have to deal with a lot of negativity. You have to deal with a lot of unsuccessful things. So it's nice to just have a blueprint of what to do. Which is what these guys did. It's not like special type of content. I wouldn't be necessarily proud of doing this. It's just like high quality. That's about it. But it's high quality because 2 people are working behind it. It's different, funny enough. And yes, they don't do it in a loss of money, I guess. It's just a hobby for them, hopefully. They're not going to get broken by the amount of work they have to do every single week, I imagine. The $20 statement was about, you will make $20 for each video. Is that good enough to motivate you to continue making videos? Or what? Because I don't expect people to make more than that. This is the high average. Until they, of course, have everything figured out and they launch their channel fully, then congratulations. It would be actually a great success story if you launched your channel, you rebranded yourself, you got to like 100,000 subscribers, the community's cheering you on, and it's like, congratulations, you did it, right? Techno Larp made it to the point where he caused a lot of drama on the community, and that's great. We cheer that up. Like, great. You got Penguin Zero's attention. Congratulations. You get to move on, right? You get to do your thing. The community aspect is the greatest thing about LARPing right now. And you can't ignore it. And I myself, instead of, well, being generic, well, I do theorize and I do research. There's a reason why I call 2 of my videos now, I research. Because I'll take a little bit longer to collect information about something or yap about something. If I find something like really interesting and novel. So I'm more like interested in their like response instead of like rewatching the video necessarily to find even more flaws. I still haven't watched the ending. Am I obligated to? Because they like compare these 2 YouTubers to the counterparts, okay.
When times are stressful or unpredictable, your brain uses...
This is good content, not gonna lie. This is pretty good. They target very correct things. It's just this is the questionable part where we don't give enough context. We just give 3 LARP tubers to chew on. That's weird to me. Because LARP tubers as a community, there's a lot going on. Right?
When things were calmer and make for a grand.
So, I mean, it's just material for the future then. They can make countless videos about whatever they like. But they also feel like they treat this one video as a staple of how they do work. Like, that's not gonna work on me, dude. Like, you have to keep pumping content and then we all gonna see what you're up to. We're not gonna see it from one video alone.
Nostalgic style and heart of these old YouTubers to make us feel even better. Like a JoJo.
It is a weird thing when people say, make us feel better. That's a really twisted intention because I don't know if people actually have this intention necessarily. If people are rich, they would want you to make you feel better because they can get away being rich. But generally speaking, people just do things and hope that they're going to be successful. They don't have intention to make you feel better. I know it's a very like trendy thing in general for Americans to do, to act nice, but yeah, it can be all kinds of intentions behind that. It doesn't necessarily mean that they act nice because they want you to feel better. Sometimes people act nice in selfish reasons to get your attention, or because they're completely mesmerized, and they act nice even if there's no response and no one's gonna read their comment. They're just there, you know, fanboys of something. Again, I'm not trying to pick apart every single sentence because, like, you shouldn't have that insecurity. of making mistakes. This is completely good content. They shouldn't try to feel defensive and say that's totally okay while, you know, picking apart that I use, like, AI to do research. Like, no one does research with Google anymore, right? So let me just conveniently ask AI some simple things like, what does it mean to have spoke about? It's similar to I talked about. How much is sum? Sum is 3 to 10. You went for 3 LARP tubers instead of anything about... You went for the minimum after seeing... Let's talk about some LARP tubers. And took a long-ass breath afterwards.
Deus Ex Machina. Now let's dive into some of the LARP YouTubers. LARP tubers.
Thanks. Good content. Yeah, there's some mistake that people can make because I can upload every single day and I can analyze what they're giving me for content. Not only you give me content, but you're also threatening to give me attention as well. Beautiful stuff, okay? Beautiful stuff. I did not expect that, but you probably don't expect that my daily videos can, like, rebuttal every single move that, like, I feel offended by. So you gotta be careful. I can't talk about, like, why my videos are theories, but to quickly put it, I have unpopular opinions that can eventually come true and become popular opinions. For example, Penguin Zero can actually get into drama where his self-deprecation no longer works. He can no longer just minimize himself like, I'm just some guy, don't worry about me. And people are gonna point that you're an influencer, you're influencing so many people, you cannot have it both ways, where you're just some guy with no influence and an influencer on top of the food chain who, like, props up a lot of drama channels. You can't have it both ways. You have to admit reality at some point. So this is a theory, okay? I do theorize, and technically I do small bits amount of research, but the difference is I do it daily, all right? That's my drive. That's the... It makes it that much more difficult to pull off. Like, can anyone pull off my style of content? Is the real question. Can anyone do my thing better than me? In that sense, by daily uploads, I act as the heart of the community. I'm there every single day. Except the days when I don't get subscribers, so please subscribe, guys. Because like everyone else, I want to feel motivated. They tried correcting the whole narrative on TikTok, and it's great. It's just the video itself used TikTok in a way of like, hey, look at all these, like, slop creators going all the way to the top. It adds more to the frustration, I guess. To me, it's more like, well, women can be slop creators, rather. It's just the female anomaly. So they haven't actually provided that much. Yeah, they just said the same thing then. Wait, so was that, like, important in any way? Because it's the same thing of like, well, we hate AI slop and we want people to put in efforts. And that threw me off. Because I don't necessarily like too much effort either. I don't really like when people praise effort so much. Because I'm still a guy on the internet who doesn't have many friends. And it feels like even while being on social media, there's nothing social going on until a community has appeared. I have my own frustrations, guys. I have my own thing that I'm crusading to get from the internet. And I expect, you know, people respecting their boundaries and respecting their neighbors in this community. Because I think my cause is way more important than just pure success. I want to use social media for what it's meant to be used for. Okay? Rediscover friendship. It feels like it's lost in the sauce. But you have to rediscover friendship in internet terms. Internet makes things different. It's a different form of reality in general. And only community setting can actually build the infrastructure for something as complicated as friendship, I would say. No, I mean, you can play video games together. You can chat on Discord together. But you have to also create the inseparable bond of putting effort together as well. And not just separating when someone finds a better game to play. and leaves you behind because you like really like a certain minigame and something you already bonded with. Like, that is my intention, not to necessarily make people feel good. I'm looking for something. Maybe even dating can be possible because on the other side of LARPing, there are baddie cosplayers. If we can merge these communities, that would be a fucking blast. So thank you for replying. That's a very decent neighbor behavior. And in the end of the day, it's just a theory. A LARP theory. Zoinks for watching.